She's a world-renowned photographer and a great music artist, and to be honest, a dear friend of mine. T.Y. Bello joins us on the show. T.Y., thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Now, many people know you now for your great photography. Let me roll back and go in that time capsule. What was the first camera you ever picked up yourself?
Oh, it's funny. My sister gave me a Minolta, tiny Minolta. I was just finished from university and I was working as a hairstylist. I thought I was going to be a hairstylist for the rest of my life. That was my passion at the time. And so she gave me this camera to take, to make images of my hair, the hairstyles that I did. But the images were really good and people would always ask for it.
Are you sure it wasn't the Minolta?
Tiny, tiny point and shoot Minolta, my very first camera.
So it wasn't you, it was the Minolta, wasn't it?
It was probably the Minolta, but you know.
So at that point, you realized you had an adeptness for taking pictures, or for you, it was still just fun?
It was just fun. I used to paint as a child, and I realized very quickly that art is the same thing across board. It's composition and texture and colors, and so it was very easy for me to connect with the camera and express myself because I hadn't painted in years. And the camera was another way to express my ideas. So it was so natural, it came so natural to me.
But did you ever think, because you were making music, you were part of a super group that grew out of Nigeria and then conquered the world to a degree. I always remember a concert you guys did where you probably at that point was 20,000, 30,000 people, Excel in London.
Yes.
And I saw you coming in like angels, all wearing white.
Yes,
like,
I remember that.
Ooh, who are these people? The group called Kush. Did you at any point think, yep, music is the thing that I want to do, not hairdressing, not photography?
You know, it's funny. I never ever thought I'd make music. It's just, you know, it's just something you do. I used to write songs, but just for the church, or for myself, or to encourage myself. To now find two other young ladies and a man who when I brought my sound and they brought their sound to mine, magic happened.
Now, the two other ladies were Lara George
and Emma.
Okay.
And the guy was Dakwa Torimiro.
Who's gone on to be an incredible producer arranger in LA now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so the Jesus thing, because we all know you very well for being a Christian. Where did the Jesus thing happen for T.Y.?
I got born again at the age of 11. And I guess it was also because the idea of God being a father, my father was late. And that...
So when you say your father was late, what does that mean?
My father passed away when I was much younger. Okay. So when someone brought the gospel to me, they had brought to me the idea of God being a father. So it totally made sense to me. So from very earlier on in my life, God has always been my heavenly father. I understood what that meant. Because I saw other people around me, they all had dads. I didn't have a dad. So there was someone I could ask for things and I would get. So I got born again I became a Christian really, really early, but it was very real to me as it is now, even as a child.
So on that subject of fathers, in your Christian journey, in your life, who were then some of the people that became an expression of God the Father on earth to you?
Oh, wow. God has been very kind. He sent me many teachers and mentors and much older friends from very early on. I remember when I became a Christian, there were like 3 teachers in my school who just wanted to see me move ahead in my journey. Do
you remember their names? Because of course nowadays there are many who they do claim you as my daughter.
I remember Mr. Imoy Silly.
Ooh, that's a name.
Yes, and Mr. Olageshin. And I remember Mr. Olageshin called me once. I was pretty much an average student. And he said to me, "You're a Christian now. That means you're the head and not the tail. That means that you cannot be average anymore." And I totally, absolutely believed him. And I went on from being an average student to being the #1 student in the entire school. And at that time, that became a major point for evangelism because half the school turned and became Christians. Because if I could become not #1 in my class, I had the absolutely best results.
Were you that bad?
I was average. I was not bad. I was just always on the line of being bad.
Right.
But then somebody told me that, oh, you know, you can ask God to be the best. You can ask God for number one. And I did. And then that meant that God led me to study harder. But I became, in my entire secondary school, the first and number one student in the school. That was a clear testimony to other 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, and in droves.
Wow. Now, T.Y., I know that there are many points in your life that shaped your faith. One which was the conception and birth of your boys.
Yes.
And I really want to hear more about that and about your photography.
Yes.
So you'll tell us that.
I will.
After this.
After that.
T.Y. Bello.